Okay, I'm gonna give a try with the tripod, but this is the final turn and the final victory point situation. I can't catch everything with this. Alright. I'll try to hold it a little steadier. But we have the victory point situation where the Habsburgs are in the lead at the end of the game. And they managed to hold their position. The Reformers just a tiny bit above the Catholics. The nobles managed to pass the burghers ever so slightly. And we have a collection of the cards there. This damn tripod is in my way now. In terms of the board, Habsburgs made a jump into Zealand and still hold their position back here. Reformers are still back here, all the way in the north. We have the burghers cutting across the board somewhat. Here we have one of the issues with this game, which is the components are absolutely gorgeous. There's no question there. Very sturdy, the board is very nice, but the green and blue pieces are almost exactly the same. Some of the names are hard to see, so if you're not familiar with Dutch and Belgian city and town names, it's going to be difficult to know where everything is very easily. It takes a while to get used to that. Especially difficult for me is the burgher victory condition city or towns, which you really have to be able to see the map, and the map gets cluttered. I've been complaining about this a little bit during the game. Let me see if I can find one. So there are these cities with white text on them, and they're very, very easy to lose track of. I don't know how much. I mean, the overall effect of the game is very pretty, so I wouldn't want to change it. But anyway, let's go back. For the bishops, pretty much the same, except that we're seeing Utrecht moving towards the Reformation here. The city positions, a little bit of money spent here to adjust things just a bit. Nobody really came out ahead on this one. The burghers had to spend a lot of money to hold the positions that they had. And what we have here is the nobles made a big stab into the Habsburg territory. Habsburgs were ahead. Everybody kind of ganged up on them. The nobility were unable to fully gain control of these areas, even though their pieces were important. So what do I feel about the game? One of the things about it that I've really noticed is that the only really weird mechanic thing for me is the pieces in your stock, and this is very much like Civilization, are your absolute limit on how many pieces you can have on the board. And this is the one kind of wanky thing in the game, is that every you look like you're rolling and very powerful and everything, and then you cannot influence outside into new areas, etc., because you just don't have the pieces. That's really where you have to put your strategy in the game, but it feels kind of odd. To me, I feel like a historical situation would involve the possibility of this overwhelming momentum. Yes, it didn't happen. Yes, the country ended up split between Catholic and Protestantism. I think other mechanics would do that just as well, but one thing that it does manage to do is it keeps everybody in the game. Your victory points don't grow over the game. It's just a matter of who's got the most at the end of the game. Some of the territories that don't count, there's these, let me see if I can find one. Oh boy, let's just put that out there. So, let's let's see. So Maastricht, if you look, the victory point section on it, which is down here, is only valuable at the end of the game, and it's worth 0.3 points. These can actually get you over a whole point, I think, if you collect up all of them or something. But most of the locations are worth either a half point or a point, and you don't want them skewing this table so that you end up with things half stacked, etc. I wanted to represent who's winning and what the point positions were, and I do that by marking these this way, but it would be kind of funny looking. Anyway, this is a really, really great game. The unfortunate thing about it is it doesn't really fit as either a real it's not a real Euro game in the sense that it's a little longer. The thought processes, like I said, are not completely calculable, which for me is a huge advantage, but I understand that the people who usually like the Euros want something that's a little easier to wrap your head around, maybe. Personally, I like this factor because it means that I don't have to try that hard. I know that I can't figure everything out, and that's what I like about the 18XX series, and I feel like this has the same attitude to it. No luck, just pure strategy, but more than my mind can possibly handle, and I know that. Okay, so those are two of the factors. Another one is it's a little longer than most of the Euro games. It runs around 5 hours, is what I hear. Now, for me, it's harder to tell because I don't play it at a sitting. And as that, well, for me that's better. That's about the perfect length for a short game. But I understand also, again, some people want a game that runs under 2 hours. On the other hand, it's not a war game. It definitely is not a war game. It is a big multiplayer game without the kinds of aspects that make a real war game. So it doesn't really fit into either category. And when Civilization was created, it had this issue too, where all the Avalon Hill fans rated it really, really poorly, even though this was one of the most beautiful and innovative games. Now, at that point in time, people were a little more willing to put in 7 hours, 8 hours into a game. Nowadays, they're really used to the much shorter game. And I can understand that, but if you've got any interest in, and now and then are able to devote, you know, a good game day to this as a base game, I would really suggest picking this sucker up. It's one of the best games I've seen recently. I've bought a lot of games recently, and outside of the pure war game that I picked up, this is probably the best I've seen in the last couple of years. All right.